We recall what St. Augustine said when he said, you know, our hearts are made for God and they will forever be restless until they rest in God. And also, I think the philosopher Socrates was said to, you know, have a regular practice of window shopping in Athens. And when he was approached by the merchants as to why he was window shopping, he says, I'm not buying anything. I'm just looking at all the things that I don't need to be happy.
That's right.
Okay, one final question before we do our meditation. And this has got to do with the question of self-control. This question says, self-control seems to be the biggest problem. How can meditation help to address this lack of self-control, and how can it help us to strengthen our self-control? Because unless we are able to have self-control, then the 8 problems keep repeating.
Yeah, the self-control, of course, is necessary for happiness. You don't have, so you know, you have one glass of wine, it's enjoyable, relaxing, or you have 1 or 2 dishes at a meal. But if you don't know how to control yourself or your desire, then you drink too much or you eat too much and you suffer the consequences. So you don't enjoy it. So we need self-control as a way of maintaining the balance, which is the essence of happiness and health. Without balance, we're not happy. Without balance, we're not healthy. So self-control is a sort of regulating, the natural self-regulator that says, enough is enough, I don't need any more, I should stop here. Or it may also say, I need a little bit more of this, I need a little bit more time in my life to be still. You know, the idea that you don't have time to meditate is a false idea. You can give me any other reason you like for not meditating, I accept it. But the idea, I don't have time to meditate, for most of us, I think there are obviously some cases, and there's a young woman who just had her 2nd child, and she said to me, you know, I can't meditate. I just don't have time. I wake up early in the morning and the baby wakes up. But she said, this happened, you know, it was very difficult for a while. She could only snatch a few moments of meditation. And she said, I never give up wanting to. And I know that when the baby settles down and life becomes more balanced, then I will come back to meditation. So, of course, there are times where you say, literally, you can't do it. But as a general rule, that is not, I don't think it's very true. There was a friend of ours, Peter's and mine, was speaking to a group of business people recently, and they asked him, he's a very important position, and they asked him, how do you find time to meditate? And he said, well, that's not the problem, is it? He's a top executive. And he said, if I'm at my desk and the managing director of this big multinational corporation, if calls me down and says, look, I had a crisis, come up and see me straight away, I don't say, I don't have time. You know? It's a question of priorities. It's as simple as that. So self-control is really a matter of clarity of judgment, clarity of vision. The idea that you don't have time to meditate, for example, is a lack of clarity. It's a question of priority. So the self-control, of course, needs to be developed. It's not just pure willpower either. If you think about it as a self-regulating device, that you just have to get working properly, it will look after you. It's not just a question of your willpower, but your self-control is a natural instinct really for balance and health, and it opens you to grace. You know, grace which comes in and helps you much more than you can help yourself. We become attuned through self-control to this infusion of grace, which is that God is pouring His gifts into our lives all the time if we can recognize it. And we're free, our minds are free and open enough to receive it. So if you think of self-control, it doesn't need to be developed. We try to develop it in children so that we don't create little monsters of narcissists and overindulgent human beings, so we teach self-control to children. But if you think about it as just lifting a very small weight to begin with, when you're beginning to meditate, you're learning to say the mantra, and you're constantly interrupted by your thoughts. But you don't give up. You know, you keep lifting this little weight, and gradually it brings some tone to your muscle. Now, you're not going to become like Schwarzenegger, but you don't want to become like Schwarzenegger, but you just want a little tone to be healthy, to be in good condition. So that's how you develop that self-control, is by the simple fidelity to that practice. And then you notice that muscle of self-control, like the muscle of attention, is operating in every area of your life, not only in your meditation. It's like you go to the gym or you do exercise certain periods of the day or the week in order to stay healthy, but then that health and fitness accompanies you throughout your life, and it makes you feel better generally. So it's in the same way, meditation touches every element of your life.
We'll have fun.